Luke, where are you? I don't see you.
He doesn't
Where am
want.
I? Where?
He
I'm
doesn't
trying to
want.
log in. I don't have the code.
I said it.
He
Do you want me to send
gave
it to
you
you?
Yeah, when you
code.
say it, I can't write it. My brain's too slow. I can't write that fast. Jeez. Actually, I didn't have it
Actually,
pulled
that's
up in
not it.
time to put it
I
in.
thought I was slow. I thought
I
I
wasn't
was
by my
slow.
phone. My headset was away from my phone. Okay, my phone almost died. Jeez. Gosh.
What are you
Well,
doing,
I'm being
Napoleon?
patronized. Okay, what is it?
Gosh.
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 It's gonna use a freaking 12 gauge, duh. Man, I'm not exactly sure how that helps me, Seth.
Oh, you have. You trying to log in on your phone?
Yeah, I'm seeing
Ah.
chronic syndrome.
Yeah, that's the last photo I thought I took.
Now, was a photo you took, right? Not sure the one you want me to see. Thank God you didn't see another one. Okay. Can someone repeat the code?
No.
Fine, I'll just be there via proxy. Ooh, I found it. I'm so excited
Oops, I typed that
that I
out
just
wrong.
can't hide it.
I'm glad
Did
I
you really?
could. Well, the picture's right.
Oh, nice.
The text isn't.
PW
Because
dash
because autocorrect.
PW PW
It looks like
CJ.
alien language.
Heck
Does.
yeah, it does. Why? Beep, 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 beep. Got it. This works. Oh,
Nope.
that's me.
Oh man.
It worked, didn't it? See, you're bummed. It works and you're bummed. That's embarrassing. With friends like you, who needs enemies? You know what I'm saying?
All right, what are we talking about tonight, boys?
Enemies like me, who needs friends?
We're doing a bit of a deep dive into our personal favorite years of video games, video game releases. So let's say Seth. Let's say Seth, for example. We were trying to figure out what his favorite year is, and it seemed to come down to 2011.
2011.
Because what sparked it was Modern Warfare 3, but upon inspection of what else came out that year, granted, we're not going to be able to look at every single title. We'll try to look at the highlights. The Skyrim is another one. That's a huge one. If you're a fan of Skyrim, that's a very important year too.
I played so many hours of Skyrim.
Okay, so that's an important year.
So many hours. I'm sure it wasn't near a world record or shattering or whatever, but it was an obscene amount of time.
You're definitely a fan.
Until I sold that Xbox to my little brother and then went to play again and realized that it was local save only and I had to start from scratch. And I started from scratch and quickly decided I'm not doing this again and stopped. So
And I've done that. So I've never beaten the game, but I've started it over from scratch several times.
Mm-hmm. Well, I did the same thing with because I played around this time frame too. I didn't discover Borderlands when it first came out, so that was the same time frame for me.
Yeah, that was 2009.
2009 release. I probably got introduced to it in 2010, 2011. Didn't realize that was local save only. I played
You got Modern Warfare 3. That was the one.
Again, obscene amount of hours on that game too. Not as much as some, but not Prestige Master either. Scroll down a bit. I honestly think because this is still in the time frame of one game a year, maybe two. So those were probably the only two that I played a lot. I did play Homefront, which is down the bottom left.
Oh, wow, you played Homefront?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of my friends had a copy of it and was like, "This is awesome." I was like, "This is 5 years behind Call of Duty. Why would I play this?" It's like it's the exact same thing except awfuler. More awful.
I actually have this Uncharted Golden Abyss on the Vita, believe it or not.
Oh, Legend of Zelda: Orca of Time, or whatever that is.
It's the 3DS version.
Is it the 3DS? I was like, I don't remember that being 2011, but okay.
Yeah, at least it's 3DS or one of the re-releases of. I think it was 3DS when they re-released it.
That's pretty much on that list. I played Battlefield 3 later in its lifetime. Never got really into it. Battlefield 4, on the other hand, that was an obscene amount of time too. Dark Souls, never played it. Well,
Human
What?
Revolution. That's a great game.
Hang on. You never played Dark Souls?
I never played Dark Souls.
Oh, Dark Souls is great, especially the remaster.
Have you lived?
Oh,
Again, 1 to 2 games a year
See,
because
If you're
I know.
I'm
if you're
poor.
asking if someone's lived by playing Dark Souls, that is the polar opposite of Dark Souls. It's have you died?
Well, have you died?
Oh wait. Dark Souls. Remind me of the premise of that again.
it's
Is that
where
you're one of the
if you-
four
alright, so
horsemen?
if you- I mean, it's the predecessor to Elden Ring.
So
It's
good.
the oldest.
Oh, okay.
Elden-
Never mind. Then
Oldest
no.
predecessor, essentially.
I'm
yeah.
Well,
thinking.
the oldest is Demon Souls, but Dark Souls.
Oh,
is
no.
right out the
Oh,
very
that's
the,
right,
the
that's
very
right,
next
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
What
Very
was
close.
the game where you play one of the four horsemen? That probably came out a lot
Oh,
earlier, and
that's,
because I
that's,
had that. I had that on PlayStation 2, so never.
That was Darksiders.
Darksiders,
That's where my mind
Oddly
went.
enough, that one's in my year that I picked.
Yeah, my roommate loved that game, and I was like, meh. He's like, do you mind if I,
Actually,
buy
what,
this
Darksiders
copy and
actually-
play it?
I thought the same thing. Yeah.
Darksiders is only on 360 and PS3 and beyond.
I thought there was a PlayStation 2 release of it. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. He could have bought the copy for his girlfriend at the time's PlayStation 3. I could be mixing up time. There was a lot of that was probably like 118,000 beers ago. So
118,000 beers on the wall.
yeah, like I don't I
2010.
don't want to see the pile that I've contributed to the aluminum can recycler.
Oh yeah, the Wii U as well. But yeah, so that is a
Okay,
good game. That's a
same
cool
time
game.
frame then. Okay.
Well, Wii U. So this is 2010.
Yeah, it came out 2010.
So it's like close to 10 years after PS2 came out.
Got it. Maybe it was
But-
Darksiders 2 that he was. Oh well, no. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
That's a good series, though. I like Darksiders. They're cool.
Yeah. Uh,
now there's also
Modern
well,
Warfare 3 specifically is when we had the most players that we would play with on a regular basis. So
I'm just
we
gonna slowly scroll through this as
Mhm.
as you're going over it.
so we would
See if
we would end up in custom lobbies on Dome. Pistols only, or knives only, or rocket launchers only, or just whatever stupid, absurd thing we could think of. Just all in the same party chat, laughing and dying and getting pissed off at
This
each other and all that. It was such a good time.
This is my favorite modern Mortal Kombat, 2011 Mortal Kombat 9. It's only called Mortal Kombat, but it was Mortal Kombat 9. That's my favorite modern Mortal Kombat. Right? Really good. That was the one I was best at. For me, it had my favorite mechanics and character. Excellent game. It was a return to form for the whole series.
I'm sure there's stuff
Battlefield
on
3 was
this
cool.
list. Like, I really wish I could have gotten into Battlefields 3. I know I played Gears 3. Actually, I think I still have a copy of it.
Gears 3 is excellent.
Gears 3.
Mhm.
Oh, so good.
I know I played it. And that Gears, for me, because I played Gears 1 and 2, were always just all about the story. I never played
Yes.
online with any of them.
Oh man, the
Really?
2 and 3 were really
2
really good
and
time
3.
online. One was rough, one was different. That was very early on in Xbox, like the 360 Xbox Live. Like it was, the netcode was horrible in that game. But
Well,
2 and 3 were excellent.
Gears 1 was a 360 launch, wasn't it?
Not a launch, but it
No.
was but it was still it was
Fairly
like an
early, yeah.
earlier 360 game though. It was like
Which is
I don't know if it's technically first generation game, but it was no newer than better than a second generation.
so that would have been the time frame before I had Xbox Live. So it would have been, I would have bought the game probably at GameStop or borrowed it from a friend and beaten it and given it back.
Yeah, I actually beat this game, Duke Nukem Forever. This game, what a wild
couldn't-
game, what a wild story.
Could not do it.
15 years in the making.
Oh, that's
15
that.
years
That's
of
that
hell
one.
and hell. Huh?
I didn't know it was a 15-year game.
Oh, it was a 15-year development hell, man. Like it took so long for it. It had like so many different versions of the game that never saw the light of day. Like it went through like 4 or 5 or 6 different engines or something.
Didn't it
Or-
end?
Hop
Didn't it
around
end?
from different developers even.
Yeah, it was just like ridiculous.
Didn't it end up on Frostbite? Am I making that up? I can't remember.
No.
No.
Oh wait, what was it? I think it's just Unreal.
Mm.
Pretty
Yeah,
sure it's just
Unreal Engine, right?
Pretty sure it's Unreal because it was Gearbox and that's like all they do now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Unreal. I'd have to look it up to verify.
I want to say it was the same engines as Borderlands, whatever that is.
That's Unreal.
Yeah, so all sure.
Why I know these things, I don't know. I for some reason I care about what engines a game is. Like I usually end up looking it up because especially when I'm impressed by a game, like what engine is this? Because when I know a game is a certain engine, that gives me an idea of what the game could be like. You know, the potential of the game.
I take some stock in that. Like it made me perk up a little bit when I knew the Star Wars games were on the same engine as Battlefield, basically.
The Frostbite engine.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That
Frostbite,
made me
yeah.
go, oh, oh.
Mhm.
This could be good. This could be seamless and flawless and play awesome.
See, I went the other way with it because I know a little bit of the background of Frostbite. Apparently,
What
it is a nightmare to work
bikini?
with.
Bikini Karate Babes 2 Warriors are what? Okay, moving on.
Someone's
Like,
getting
I've
What-
never heard of that in my life.
What
I-
console
and
did that release on?
360.
It's
The only reason
I'm
I
like,
know
why
this
is
is
this even
because
on
I used to
here?
go Blockbuster back in the day and rent games, and I remember that game was always on the shelf.
Probably was awful. And probably also the games
don't know.
that all the
It's
moms
release.
went, no.
there's nothing about this. Why is this even on here?
But what?
Like now I'm curious. What? 2011 video game. There's nothing on this. There's no.
That's probably
no
how it was probably like a Blockbuster exclusive, and it failed so miserably that it's
Yeah,
like,
no, it's a Japanese game. They're an entire Japanese series because I've actually seen multiple of them.
Oh, it's Japanese. Oh, these are not Asian ladies on here too. At least on the cover, anyway.
Is it the Bikini Samurai or whatever?
The Bikini Karate Babes 2, Warriors of Elysia.
Okay, that one I don't know. That one I don't know.
That's so stupid. Okay. All right. So, before I run out, I don't want to take too long. So that's CES 2011. That's some good idea of what he stuff he played. So, Mike's year is only 1 year prior, 2010,
ooh.
and
Ooh.
2010,
Ooh, ooh.
and a solid year. I mean, you got Mass Effect 2.
Red
You
Dead
got Red Dead
Redemption.
Redemption. You got Heavy
Black
Rain.
Ops.
God of War
Mhm.
3. Halo Reach.
Oh, Halo Reach.
Black Ops, which I played the shit out of Black Ops. I barely played Modern Warfare 3, but I did play the hell. Black Ops was the next big thing after Modern Warfare 2 for me. Like, I actually really got into Black Ops. That was like one of the most I ever played of Call of Duty.
Black Ops
Besides-
was my first time online. Xbox Live.
Yeah.
StarCraft 2. I love me some StarCraft 2.
Battlefield Company 2, that's a big one for Mike. So a lot of people like Fable 3. There's
That is my-
Darksiders.
Battlefield Bad Company 2 is my favorite story-oriented Battlefield of all time.
Oh, Fallout New Vegas, that's huge.
Oh,
That's a huge
Fallout New
one right
Vegas.
there.
Favorite Fallout in all the series, period, hands down.
Now, here's a hidden gem. Enslaved Odyssey to the West, really good game.
Mhm.
Very good game.
Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain was excellent as well.
Xenoblade Chronicles. Now, I forgot this came out that year. That's on the
Xenoblade
Wii. That's
Chronicles.
crazy. I like that game a lot.
Oh, and Medal of Honor.
This Alien vs Predator is actually pretty good, and it's backwards compatible.
I also enjoyed that Medal of Honor as well.
Hmm.
And Bioshock 2.
That was the last Medal of Honor they put out, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Maybe,
It was-
I think so.
It was the
It
Modern
was Modern
one.
Warfare. Yeah.
I liked it for what it was. I didn't care about the multiplayer.
Force Unleashed 2 is a cool game.
Yeah. One time it was even canon.
I mean, yeah, people. This is voted by popularity on IMDb. So like Red Dead, Fallout. I mean, all the major ones are right here at the very top easily. Assassin's
yeah.
Creed Brotherhood for people that like Assassin's Creed. I don't really care about Assassin's Creed too much.
Actually, the concept of Assassin's Creed was brand new, and I liked the concept, and I got into that pretty hard. But
Undead
I
Nightmare.
don't care about them. The Undead Nightmares?
Apparently,
Yeah.
that was 2010. Within 2010.
Okay, so that was the same year it came out. Then.
That was one of the greatest DLCs ever.
My other hidden gem is Metro 2033. I love that game too.
This is the remake of GoldenEye with Daniel Craig's likeness. Kind of a weird game. It's like if Call of Duty and Bond had a baby, but the baby was not very attractive. It didn't like no. It didn't or the baby grew up to be a 5 out of 10 looking person.
It didn't transition well.
No, it was okay. It was not terrible, but it was not that great either. It was kind of,
One thing I liked about this year was the year that I had great games for almost every platform I owned. So I also loved Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. It's one of my favorite Metal Gears,
too?
actually.
Yep, Peace Walker.
And StarCraft 2 is PC, and God of War 3 for my PlayStation. But that is an absolute killer year. And then Mass Effect 2, which is my favorite Mass Effect in the entire series.
Gonna get rid of these wikis because they're just lists and it's visually not as interesting. I roll through and see the box art. Okay. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. That's actually a really good Need for Speed game. One of the better ones. People love Galaxy 2, Mario Galaxy 2. Deadly Premonition's got a cult following. That's a weird game. Super Japanese.
How many do you own?
Of this year?
Yeah.
Virtually everything we've talked about. Okay. I mean, there's not much we talked about. I don't have one way or another.
I doubt he has StarCraft, but
I don't on PC. I just have StarCraft 64.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's exclusively a PC
It depends
game.
on what we're talking about. I have the majority, though, not all of them, but the majority of the major things we talked about. I have different ways.
I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe that.
I mean, I have nearly 2,000 physical, not even mentioning digital. I have almost 2,000 physical games, so I guess it makes sense.
Absolutely.
So yeah, 2010. I'm a fan of 2010. That's a good year. It's a real good year. I like 2011 as well, but like 2010 is like really.
It was a toss-up between 2010, 2008, and 2007.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I gotta give it up. I'm gonna shout out to Marvel 3. I forgot it was 2011.
Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 for 2011. Actually, that was one reason why I could say that's probably my favorite competitive, like that I've been competitive with fighting game of all time. Marvel 3 and all of its, from when it came out to because you know what? That's right. Ultimate. I gotta check this real quick because this will What is it, Lilith? Okay.
So
yeah, 2011. So for me, this right here, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, because it came out. I remember it came out. I was at tech school in the Air Force, and this came out, and Skyrim came out. I was playing them at tech school. Because a guy had a 360 in his dorm, and I bought it off of him because he was moving out and realized he had it and didn't need it, and so I bought it off of him. Liz, what are you doing, boo boo? Hey.
Love me, human. Love me.
Yeah, what are you doing, boo boo? Yeah, so her. yeah, so 2011 is definitely a noteworthy year for me too, because that is I played that game so much. That got me into the competitive fighting game community scene, like terms of watching it, paying attention to it, knowing, like that was actually the first time I'd ever watched any competitive gaming scene at all. Like, so Evo, which is the biggest fighting game tournament in the world, that usually takes place in I think it usually takes place in Vegas if I remember right. Yeah, it's like I've watched it so many times, on Twitch, live streaming and watching the tournaments in real time, big time. But anyway, so yeah, so that for me, that's a huge one right there for 2011. I agree. That's cool. So moving on to Luke. Luke picked, and this is an excellent year, 2000.
Yep.
Now, primarily
Next,
because of Diablo 2, which is cool. Diablo 2 is a classic. But there's a lot of other major titles.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Wow.
That was my game too. I had that. No, I had Diablo 2 on, just for clarity, on PC. I had Tony Hawk Pro Skater on console. I think it was console.
I had it on. I'm pretty sure I had it on N64.
I played.
Yeah, Diablo 2 was only on PC. In fact, until they remastered it recently, it's only been on PC up until recently. Yeah. Never made it to console.
But you could make serious money on Diablo 2 back in the day if you played hardcore characters.
Oh yeah, you had your little thing going.
Oh yeah, so I had a little. I sold all my gear to Loot, LEWT.com. I think they're still around, but the marketplace isn't what it used to be. But anyway, you would literally harvest gear, sell it to them, and they would turn around and sell it for a markup. It was a beautiful thing. But Resident Evil Code Veronica was another one out of this year that I played.
Oh, you played Code Veronica? I didn't know you played Code Veronica.
Yeah.
Nobody has played that game.
Command and Conquer Red Alert 2. Was another game I played, which was a strategy game, and I remember like sometimes those games would last 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it was so demoralizing if you would lose. But even if you won, it's like your life, you just wasted 3 hours of your life you'll never get back because you got to start all over again.
Oh, there it is. That's
the very first one on there.
By popularity.
Yeah. And then Mega Man Legends 2 was like, because I had a PlayStation. Mega Man, dude, was legit.
Whoa. You had Mega Man Legends 2?
Yes.
That's like that's at least a $200-$300 game.
Well,
that's worth a lot of money. That's one of the rarest ones.
I still have it somewhere.
You still have it, dude. That's no shit, like worth money and very hard to find. I don't have it. I had the first one. Oh wait,
Steven's like, birthday present?
I do have it.
Birthday present for me?
Oh, wait.
Yeah. Shove it to me?
No, I'm sorry. I do have it. But it is worth a lot of money. The one that's worth the most though is Tron, Mega Man Legends Tron Bone, which was even fewer copies of that, but it was the same engine, same, but it was like a side game.
You'd have to see, Sky, if your copy would even play still, though, because I'm sure it was t-shirted to death.
Oh, it was.
It can be repaired.
Nobody told me you weren't supposed to. You know what? It's not my fault. I had the little rigids. You're supposed to go with them, not against them. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. So,
Deus Ex. Oh man, see, that game is a.
Legend of Zelda.
Majora's Mask.
Yes.
Oh man, yeah, that's considered.
So I was a Legend of Zelda fan, but I actually got that copy. I won that copy playing
Deathmatch.
Pods. What was the flip game?
What was the flip game?
Oh, yeah,
Pogs.
Oh, yeah, I think it's Pogs. Yeah,
Pogs.
Like
I won
that. Cardboard cutouts?
I won that game. Yeah, I won that game. I'm playing that because I couldn't afford to buy it.
I didn't know people actually played the game.
Oh yeah, no, people played it. I actually got that late in the. It wasn't in 2000.
Well, what do you remember about Code Veronica? Because I like the game. It's a weird Resident Evil, but I still like a lot of things about it. It's nostalgic because it's Dreamcast but the It was hyped up at the time, and I was all, because I'm a big Resident Evil fan. But it has one of the worst characters in the series, Steve. I hate Steve. He's so bad. He looks like Leonardo DiCaprio. And he sounds like this. Like, wait, Yoshi.
Why do you hate yourself,
Yeah.
Steve?
Yeah, so he may sound a little soft, but I thought it was an interesting game. The
Oh, the
storyline
controls
seemed
were
interesting
bad
to me.
too. Even for,
Controls were horrible.
that controller was horrible for tank controls. Like it was just the joystick for it. It was
So
bad.
Yeah, I got it off of a yard sale. My mom found it.
Oh, Final Fantasy
So-
9, excellent Final Fantasy. That was the last PlayStation 1 Final Fantasy.
funny story about Pogs.
Perfect Dark, that's huge.
Funny story about
Funny story
Pogs
about
is
Pogs.
my grandpa was a machinist, and
Yeah?
he made us. You remember the slammers
Yeah.
for those? He made us all stainless steel slammers that were the right shape.
Oh,
They were about a 1/4 inch, well, maybe 5/16 or 3/8 tall,
Counter Strike.
heavy.
very
Heavy.
nice. Very nice.
Here's a hidden gem. No One Lives Forever. It came out on PlayStation 2. It may not have this year. This is the PC version, but whenever it came out on PS2, so I played a port of the game. That is a very funny, very cool, very fun, very funny. It's literally a female, slightly less goofy, but still very self-aware, comedic Austin Powers. Like I mean, even the font is like Spy Who Shagged Me type, 60s font. But the game, and it's all, she's a British spy. The guns were good, the graphics were good at the time, but the game has really funny dialogue and a lot of voice acting, a lot of funny dialogue. It doesn't take itself seriously. It was hidden gem, like totally hidden gem that thankfully came out on PS2. It's the only time it came out on consoles. Fun game.
Oh, who here played Little Mermaid 2?
I have Little Mermaid on the NES because it was
Yeah, I'm not
it's
sure
actually
I
a good
played
game,
that one.
believe it or not. And I played it as a kid. I played it at my friend's house as a kid, so it's nostalgic for me. That was
Yeah,
when we were little.
This is the guy that just convinced us to download Power Rangers and Dragon Ball Z. I don't know what he's been drinking, but someone test him.
Hey, not gonna lie though. I mean, even though I'm not a huge
Someone
Dragon Ball
test
Z
him.
guy, the Dragon Ball Z that's pretty mainstream. There's many people that love Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, here we
Many walks
go.
of life.
Hey,
So,
I used to be a
did-
DBZ guy.
So 2 other games on here that I played. One was Soldier of Fortune.
Oh, you played that? That was controversial for its time.
I played Soldier of Fortune, and I played Dino Crisis 2.
Oh, you did? I love Dino Crisis 2.
Yep. So
Love
those
this guy. I played the hell. I beat it while I was in Afghanistan. I had a handheld.
Now the other ones, I didn't even know some of these existed in 2000, so I'm actually surprised to see a few of these on the list.
I know, right?
But so I must
Oh,
admit
two.
a cardinal sin. I've never played Perfect Dark. I
Fear
have
Effect was a
seen
weird
Perfect
one.
Dark played.
You've hurt my feelings.
Oh, Perfect
I've
Dark is
seen
a
it.
monster classic.
I've seen it
Great
played,
game.
and then Counter-Strike. Wasn't Counter-Strike on PC in 2000?
Yes.
Yes.
It said
Mhm.
Half-Life Counter-Strike. I think that was
Okay,
the beginning of it.
Yeah, because so then I played Counter-Strike, a bootleg copy. I played Counter-Strike.
I'm pretty sure
I
I've got a decommissioned PC in my garage right now that I should just chuck because it literally has no personal information on it anymore that's relevant. And I'm pretty sure it has a bootleg copy of Counter-Strike 1.5 on it. If it doesn't have that, I'm pretty sure it has Halo on it.
God, I've got so many of these games because
Oh,
this
there
year
you
was this year was a strong. I love 2000. That's a
It was
good
it was a
year.
clutch year, and you made fun of it at first. You're like, no, we meant good years. We meant good years with for
No,
games.
no,
I'm
no,
like,
no.
what?
What? No. I thought you said about something about business. I thought you were saying like something outside of gaming. I was like, like a life event, you know. And I was
No,
like, I don't
no,
want to go
no,
off
no,
in the
no,
weeds.
no. That's what I said with my Diablo, right? I would
Then I realized,
literally,
oh, he's talking about making money on Diablo. That's what
yeah,
he's
yeah.
referring to. Okay.
I'd speed run. I could finish the game for you in under 30 minutes all the way through the hardest difficulty. I'd give you all the waypoints, and I'd charge like I think $10. And then
Ooh,
I would
that gets
do
hot.
I could do a level boost for you all the way up to level 55. I'd do for like I think 15. If you bought them together, I'd give you a deal. And then I could get level you all the way up to I think it was 7. What was the next one? 70. Level 70, I think, unlocked all the gear for you. So I would literally sell my time to boost your characters, but only on hardcore. People would pay a lot of money for it because when you die, it's over. And I
Yeah,
actually
you lose
killed
everything.
one of my buddies. I killed one of my buddies placing Diablo because I was talking to a female, who's my wife, and I clicked the wrong button. And when I clicked the wrong button, it accidentally activated Diablo and it killed him. Character was worth like $1,200. And so instead of
Dang it.
paying him, I just farmed his character up for him and relocated. I bartered for his gear. Um, and it's, a funny story on that. I actually saw him 3 days ago and he goes, "Hey," I said, "we should grab lunch." He goes, "Maybe we should play some Diablo." And he laughed about it. So I think we're in
That's
good
good.
spirits.
That's good.
That's
Um,
good.
Is that the
but,
first? Is it literally the first time you've talked to him since?
well, it's been a while. Honestly haven't seen him in a decade. So I would farm, but I would also find stuff, and you would sell. The most expensive item I ever sold was a pair of gloves that went for $199.
Good grief.
Wow.
My portion of it, I think I got like 150.
See,
They sold it for a
y'all,
markup.
right here in one shot, Crimson Skies, Dead or Alive 2, and Time Splitters. I played the living god out of all three of these. Okay, on Xbox,
I don't even
Dreamcast,
see
and
that listed.
PS2. Like these are literally this is on IMDb. Like Crimson Skies was an Xbox exclusive that's now backwards compatible, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Dead or Alive 2 at the time was a Dreamcast and arcade exclusive built on Naomi board, and then Time Splitters was former GoldenEye devs from Rare that went over and formed the studio. Just not forgot the name of it. They're no longer around. And made Time Splitters, which was a PS2 launch title. That was my first PS2 game. It was a launch day. It was a launch day title. And
Very
I
interesting.
played the living crap out of all three of these right here. Yeah, 2000 is a great year.
All right, so see, you do like my gear.
I love
I
it.
feel redeemed. I feel redeemed.
I love 2000. 2000 is fantastic. So much. It was such a good time for playing. I had a Dreamcast already for about a year, or I'd had a Dreamcast for a year by then. Just got PS2. Oh man, it was a good time.
Well, you know why it was so special is because we just came out of Y2K, right? And
Yeah,
we
that
didn't even know. Seriously, like as a kid, I didn't even know, are these even going to be available? You know what I'm saying? So we had like
I
that.
didn't buy into all that. I was like, this is all crap, and I'll be absolutely shocked if anything comes of this. People are hyping up nothing, and I was right.
Well,
I'm pretty sure it was basically a couple ATMs in like France and a couple other places spitting out money randomly, and that was the biggest story that they could do. It was like,
yeah,
well,
and
2020 or
And it was
the
probably
2000s
correlation
hit,
more than
and
causation. I'm willing to
yeah.
thank you.
2000s hit, and we're all still here, and nothing crashed. So sorry we
I
freaked
knew
you
we
out.
weren't going to get nuked. I just wondered if if the clock thing was real or
Well,
not.
something did crash that year, but it had nothing to do with the Y2K, and that was the Mars probe. The two different
Oh.
teams developed. One team
Mm.
did it in meters, and the other one did it in feet, and it just slammed its face into the Mars. But it had nothing to
Oh,
do
wow.
with Y2K. It's just
So my favorite year, and I've felt this way for a very long time. My favorite year is '97.
The Curse of Monkey Island.
Yeah, that's a great game. That is a great game. It's still to this day PC only. But that was one of the PC games we did have that my sister and I would play. I would watch her play it. She played it more than me, but I watched her play it. But I played it some, but it is a point and click animated adventure game. It is a hilarious, beautiful, very interesting game that is timeless. So that's a if they remastered it and threw it on the Xbox right now, it would look like a modern game with old school animation. It's great. Final Fantasy VII though, this is the game. This is why right here. This is the main reason why this is my favorite game of all time. PlayStation 1 original Final Fantasy VII. So that's
why is it your favorite game of all time? I gotta hear
it just is like over the course of time, over the course of the last 30 years of playing stuff and I really it is ironically I didn't like it when I first played. Ironically, it wasn't even my game; it was my sister's game.
You're just not gonna understand. You're just not gonna understand.
I fell in love with it, and it was my first RPG, turn-based, huge, big, multi-disc, epic story, and with text dialogue throughout the whole thing, like that type of game. It was the first of all that for me.
I love how basic the description is. A former soldier from an evil company joins a mercenary clan to fight the company he once served. Like, thank you for being very descriptive on what's going on.
That's literally just the very beginning of the game. I mean, that's it.
I'm glad you enlightened me. Just like your answer, why is it your favorite? It just is. Okay, well, let's read the description. Well, okay. So, it's just as elusive. Great, thanks.
Well, it was gorgeous graphics at the time, even though the character models were strange at the time. But the pre-rendered backgrounds and were beautiful. I was not used to turn-based combat because I'd never played turn-based combat, which was not new. So turn-based, but I fell in love with it once I understood it. Then the cinematic cutscenes are gorgeous. You know, they were like unprecedented at the time. The story is amazing. The character, you fall in love with the characters. Like I had never. That was the first time I'd really like. It felt like I experienced a fantastic novel, but it was a game.
I'm pretty sure that I would have fallen in love with these games too if I would have had a PlayStation or PlayStation 2, whatever this came out on. I loved Super Mario RPG. It was fantastic.
That's a good example. So funny dialogue, witty characters, all that stuff. Like you fall in love with the characters, and if you come out of it feeling like it's like you just read a good book.
Yeah, maybe that's just why I fell asleep when you guys played Final Fantasy. I didn't understand the game enough to enjoy it. I was just like, get a fair shot, but I didn't understand the whole turn base. How do I leverage that to my best advantage?
Which one was on? Which one was on 360? 13.
13 came to 360. Yeah, and then eventually the online
13-2 and
it was
Well, it's not very
11.
final, then, is it?
Huh?
They're never final, but they keep on coming out.
The reason they called it Final Fantasy was because the first one that came out on the regular Nintendo was their Hail Mary of a game to try to, because they were not succeeding in any game they were trying over at Square. So they were like, okay, we need to. This is like, well, we're pouring everything we got into this.
Kind of like the story of Dead or Alive.
Pulling out my earpiece, Lilith. Her tail caught it.
So it's the story of Dead or Alive, in other words.
So she, I mean, so they were like, look, it was Yoshitaka. No, that's the artist. Yoshitaka Miles, the artist. Harunobu Sakaguchi he was the director, the creator of Final Fantasy. Really, he was kind of the mastermind behind it at the end of the day, and he called it his Final Fantasy because it was kind of their Hail Mary to make a successful game. And they put all their eggs in that basket to make a game that they were hoping would catch on, and it did, and it succeeded. And then the rest is history because they hadn't made a hit yet.
Gotcha.
So you got GoldenEye, you got Tekken 3. See, that's one of the greatest fighting games ever made, right? Blade Runner that was recently.
I played Tekken 3 on my cousin's PlayStation.
Such a good game. To this day, it's one of the greatest fighting games. Like you can pick it up and fire it up, and it's fun.
Tekken is good, but Tekken wasn't a 2000. I mean, Tekken wasn't a 97 game, was it?
Yeah.
Third one was.
Yeah, the first one was like back in 94, 95.
Yeah.
Or then the second one was like 96 or something, or I'm trying. It's
Gotcha.
somewhere in there. Both. So yeah, that's an older franchise.
Tekken was good.
Oh yeah, I love Tekken 2 as well, but Tekken 3 was just like an incredible. It was like it was the arcade at home, but better. It was one of the first games. It was one of the first fighting games to do that, where it was actually better at home than the arcade. So it was unprecedented at the time. GoldenEye, of course, is a absolute masterpiece, classic. I love GoldenEye. The only thing that rivaled it was its predecessor. It's Perfect Dark, as far as the same developer, same engine.
Or it's
well, I mean, sort of, because well, think about it. I mean, it's the same engine, it's the same developer, it's the same mechanics, but they expanded on that, made it their own unique IP, but it was all the same mechanics and engine. So
yeah,
it may not have been
Perfect Dark came out
later.
after.
Yeah.
So it's not a predecessor. It's successor.
Oh, no. I mean successor. That's what I meant to say. Successor. Not predecessor, but the successor. The successor to GoldenEye, the following, the spiritual successor. That's kind of what I was thinking too. Kind of a spiritual successor following that improved on it was Perfect Dark, but GoldenEye is amazing. Jedi. I actually played this on PC. Jedi Knight, Dark Forces 2. Great game.
Yeah.
Symphony of the Night is one of the most iconic games of all time. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I mean, it literally coined the term Metroidvania. Tomb Raider 2 is considered one of the best Tomb Raiders. Star Fox 64 is a classic.
Isn't Tomb Raider 2 the one that you can put the code in? Don't lie.
No. There was never anything like that for outside of like maybe some kind of weird mods or something people came up with it later down the road, but there was no nude code or anything. I mean, you would only get weird pixels anyway.
Thank you for expanding on that. Got it.
Yeah.
Pixels in a dream, boys. Pixels in a dream.
That wasn't a challenge to continue that thought, Luke. Thank you.
I mean, the first one was just pyramids, but so. Actually, I played that. I played a lot of Tomb Raider 2. That's a good game. Star Fox 64 is a classic. Blood, I love Blood. This is another PC first-person shooter from the Duke Nukem 3D engine. That is a Monolith Software game. That is an awesome, fun game. I love Blood. Oddworld is iconic. You know what? People consider Crash Bandicoot 2 to be the best in the series. That's like usually kind of universally accepted as the best in the Crash Bandicoot.
I actually got that remastered on my PlayStation for Chloe to play.
Yeah, and that's the best way to play it. Doom 64 is a classic Doom. There's the first Mega Man Legends. It's a good game.
Yep, love Mega Man.
Quake 2, huge. It's an amazing first-person shooter. It was super dope when it first came out. That was like, wow.
Isn't that another one that people spent just in an eternity on? Like played
Quake 2
for decades.
Huge. And then it spawned into Quake 3, which was where it became competitive.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it was like because Quake 2. Let's say it's funny because I don't know about the PC for sure. I'm assuming it does, but Quake 2 on the N64, you had split screen deathmatch.
I remember that.
So Quake 2 was part of the kind of like GoldenEye, the some of the origins of PvP first person shooters, like we were talking about last podcast. Redneck Rampage, that's a goofy game. That's also this that's also the same engine as Duke Nukem 3D. Redneck Rampage, that's a goofy game. It's funny. Gran Turismo, that's super iconic. The original Gran Turismo. Diddy Kong Racing. A lot of people love Diddy Kong Racing. I sold it when I first originally had it. I bought it back later to collect, but I originally sold it because I was so pissed off with the bosses on it.
Was that a weird take on Mario Kart?
Yeah, it was Mario Kart Rare Edition. Like kind of Diddy Kong, Donkey Kong, like it was all rare. Nintendo owned but rare characters, stuff like that. Banjo-Kazooie, I think, or Shadow
the original
Warrior.
Zelda?
That this is like some kind of weird release. I don't know what this is. This is some kind of weird release because this came out like way before that.
Gotcha. Because that Zelda was legit.
Oh, the Link to the Past is my favorite Zelda to this day.
There's only 550 titles in this year.
all of them.
The heck, Steven, no reason you like it.
Yeah, all these lists have.
And you own every copy.
That many. It's like stupid amount. It took me. I could spend an entire podcast on 1 year. Carmageddon, that was controversial at the time because people are stupid. You ran over people and it was gory, and you got points for running over pedestrians. They're like, "Oh my god, it's stupid." And you look at it now, and it's goofy and cartoonish as hell. It's like not even it's literally 2D sprite people, and they go, "Oh," when you run them over. Like who the? It's like, girl.
Need for Speed 2. I may have had a copy of that on PC.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Need for Speed they were cool games. Riven, sequel to Myst, that's a neat game. Oh god, Mortal Kombat. But this is when Mortal Kombat branched out of the fighting game genre, went into adventure genre, side-scrolling adventure. Rough. Nightmare Creatures. See when I got a PlayStation 1 in '97, I was a little bit late to the game with buying a PS1. But I got Nightmare Creatures because it came out on Halloween. It was right after Halloween that we bought it for early Christmas present. My sister got Final Fantasy VII because she was like hearing all the ranting and raving about it. It had just come out, and she was hearing all the hype about it. Because Final Fantasy VI was a huge game, so people were super hyped about 7. And I mean, hell, 7 is what sparked the separation of Sony from Nintendo when they were going to make a console together. Because because Sony wanted to, we're like, well, we're developing Final Fantasy VII right now, and with Squaresoft, and this game needs to be disc based. It needs to be optical disc based for the cutscenes and audio and all this and that. And Nintendo's like, nah, cartridge. Well, we don't, but cartridge isn't good enough. We want to be on optical disc in order to. And Nintendo's like, no, cartridge. And Sony's like, all right, fine. You do your thing where you do ours then. Goodbye. And that's why they made the PlayStation. That's why Nintendo did 64. Whereas there's an actual rare, I've said this before, but there's actual rare prototypes of a Nintendo Sony console that they were working on. That was going to be a joint venture. But that completely went, and the rest is history. Kind of a crazy story. But then I ended up, it's funny because I love Nightmare Creatures, but I ended up playing Final Fantasy VII. Went from not liking it because I didn't get it at first to falling in love with it by the time I was in the middle of the game. Beat it before my sister even did. In fact, she never beat it. And then I bought it from her, and I own it to this day. And it's my favorite game of all time.
Played the heck out of Diddy Kong or Donkey Kong 3 too.
Hey, another one I played.
Donkey Kong, yeah. Oh yeah, that's a fun game.
Kong 3,
I love those
me
games.
and my sis played that.
1, 2, and 3. Oh, Turok, that's another huge one. Turok.
Was it?
Turok.
That was N64 and PlayStation, wasn't it?
Just N64. Originally.
It's one that I could.
It's on everything now, but
that's one that I could never have.
Yeah, great game. That's when our cousin Matt came over from California to Oklahoma and brought a 64 with them in this game, and showed it to me, and I was just I fell to pieces. It's just like, this game is amazing. As a kid, it's so cool. NFL Blitz, that's such a fun game. It's stupid fun.
It's one where you just keep tackling people over and over and over again.
That's all I did in that game.
I don't think the goal was to win. I think the goal was to
I never
beat the tar out of each other. Beat the holy
hell out of your friends.
Yeah.
Inflict as much pain as possible on the enemy.
What was that?
What's up?
What'd you say, Sky?
My NFL Blitz is all about inflict as much pain as possible on your enemy.
Yes. Especially,
you know what? The only game that was funner than that for me was Mutant League Football, and nobody even remembers that game.
Nope.
Oh yeah.
But you could literally rip their spine.
I remember the cartoon
out of their back. I loved it so much.
Vandal Hearts. This is a hidden gem. This is a amazing turn-based RPG that I to this day love. But Time Crisis 2 in the arcade, oh my god, that melted my brain as a kid. The light gun game at the arcade with the recoil pistols, oh my god, it was so cool. I love Time Crisis 2. All right. We got 9 minutes. We got 9 minutes. I think that pretty well covers all of our years. A lot of good years. A lot of good memories.
Oh yeah.
Then there's way more than that. It's impossible to. You could, like I said, you could spend an entire podcast on 1 year.
Yeah. Well, in my case, I had to pick a 360 years because back in 2000s and the 90s and stuff, I got games when I could get them, not when they came out.
Same. Yeah. There's a lot of these games that I've played because they came up on Xbox Game Pass or something like that, and I downloaded them for free, spent 20 minutes on them, and then went, yeah, okay, cool. So real quickly, since we got a couple minutes, what did we all think about the Modern Warfare 2 beta?
Bad.
I definitely enjoyed it.
Do we think it's the savior of COD?
I won't be dramatic about it necessarily,
But
but I definitely welcome the change. I absolutely welcome the change. I'm glad it's a more the general direction of it being, let's go back to 2019, to Modern Warfare 2019,
without the sweaty slide canceling.
Yeah. Just the let's forget Cold War, let's forget Vanguard, let's go back to Modern Warfare 2019, and that's the general direction of it. That's what I want to see. That's what I've wanted. So I like that.
It's a stinking beautiful game.
Yeah, the best looking so far, easily.
More they go back into like tactical shooting, happier I am. So
yep. I'm more than happy for them to do that at this point, because I just want it to be different. I just want it to be different.
I miss my stems and my tactical slides. I'm not gonna lie.
I like those things. I certainly do. I've grown to like them. I'm used to them, but I'm cool with them not being in it, though. To be honest,
I put it a hair above Cold War. Actually, I know no one else on the call liked it, but I like Cold War. So I think it's a hair above it. I don't know if it to me it doesn't feel as good as the original Modern Warfare. It definitely looks a lot better than the original Modern Warfare. So I'm curious to see how it works on the big map.
I'm curious to see how it's gonna what they're gonna tweak and what they're gonna leave in, if they're gonna actually bring in some form of slide canceling that was easier without resetting the tac sprint. But at the same time, there's other ways you can have an advantage. My biggest thing is the sprint to fire time for me. I lost a lot of fights being too aggressive. So it's definitely going back to catering to a slower movement and tactical and all that fun stuff. With being able to hold a fun multiplayer aspect at the same time. You just have to slow down a second. Or pause before you go around a corner. And you know.
I miss the day where you could creep up on a guy and start shooting him and you win. Mm-hmm. And now it's the other way around, where you can creep up on a guy and it's just, who's twitchier?
Right. And I definitely felt that if you got behind a team, I have a clip. I have a clip of me doing it, getting behind a team on domination and basically getting a quad feed or higher because they didn't know where I was, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even though they all kind of started scattering and running around, it's like, okay, well, by the time
you were panicking, they were panicking, and you picked them off.
Yeah. And there's a lot of incidents like that. There was a lot of instances too where I won, gunfights purely because I had the SCAR or the AK-74U. Like, so there's going to be weapon balance issues like there always is, where you can't just run whatever you want to. But I think that's kind of the fun of it, If there isn't an OP gun, or at least a little OP gun, then is it really a COD at this point?
Well, I like how everything is perfectly viable. Nothing was absolute trash and didn't work.
Correct.
It was like, no, this is trash, don't use it. No, it was like, that was one thing I liked about Vanguard. Everything was good on some level.
Mm-hmm.
Most everything. Here's one way to look at the beta. So I can't help but compare it to Modern Warfare 2019, which I love that game.
It's the one thing it should be compared to be honest.
Right, yeah, because Vanguard and Cold War were so different. For Cold War, it was the zombies part of it that I absolutely praise. I loved the zombies part of it. That's what kept me engaged with it. The multiplayer,
I was there at all.
Yeah, I mean, the multiplayer I could take or leave, but it was okay. It was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. But the Modern Warfare 2019, though, I still enjoy popping on there and knocking out a match. I was just on there to unlock the gun. I ended up playing the whole match through and enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, though. I have to remind myself. I'm like, I'm sitting there comparing the beta to Modern Warfare 2019. I'm thinking, man, I like the beta quite a bit, but is it better than 2019? I don't know, not necessarily. But then I have to remind myself. Remember, though, 2019 is at its end state versus a beta.
Right.
So I'm like, if they're even comparable, that's
I remember
a good
2019's beta, and I was not terribly impressed by it either.
I was more impressed when 2019 came out because I wasn't streaming or doing anything. I bought the game solely because the campaign looked flipping sick, and it's actually what brought me and one of my best friends back into COD gaming and gaming together was the 2019 multiplayer, and then then Warzone later. Yeah, and then Warzone later on.
I'd given up on COD completely too.
I did not buy Black Ops 4.
I wasn't
terrible. I wasn't interested.
Didn't get my attention. Yeah.
I dabbled in 3, never touched 4.
I really liked Black Ops 3. That was at the end of the gaming good times, we'll call it. Gaming with my buddy Ben and all of our friends and all that. He didn't buy what was the one after that, Infinite Warfare. He didn't like that.
I loved Infinite Warfare.
And Infinite Warfare as far as mechanics goes and everything like that, was almost identical to Black Ops 3. It was just different guns. So it kind of died out quick for me.
Well, I didn't say 3 was bad. It just
didn't
get my attention.
Mm-hmm.
3 was. I played a chunk of 3 with the
story mode of Infinite was my absolute favorite.
That story was flipping amazing. Hands down, one of the coolest things.
I still need to play that. I really do. I have it installed right now.
The campaign.
Most original campaign they've ever done. I'm calling it out on that.
It was a lot of fun. It's replayable, and this is hard to say too for any modern shooter. The campaign is replayable. That's
true.
That's the trippy part about it. Like, campaigns aren't replayable on CODs. What? Unless you're unless you're just one of those guys that has to beat it on hard. Like, the story is replayable.
Yeah, actively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2019 really was a return. Now, even though weirdly enough, I got Master Prestige on World War II. But I only played it by myself, though. Mike and I played it together a little bit, but then he understandably just kind of lost interest.
So I played the crap out of it, and I couldn't get anybody to play with me. And you got into it after I gave up on it.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then I just ended up.
I had already done 3 Prestiges, and then you got into it and got ahead of me.
Okay, yeah.
And it looks like we're coming to an end, folks. Have a great night.
Yeah, overall beta, thumbs up. Oh, so far, thumbs up, and I'm optimistic. I'm looking forward to the full release.
Yep, sounds good. I'm with you. Gonna be good. Gonna be exciting.
Y'all have a great night.
Good night.
Sneaky Snickers!